A top Army officer at Fort Bragg is under arrest. Brigadier General Jeffrey Sinclair facing possible court-martial on charges that included forced sex, pornography, and engaging in inappropriate relationships. Gilbert Bays is live at Fort Bragg with details. Gilbert.
Larry, and I've been here for 35 years, and I can't recall a brigadier general being relieved of his command and investigated on criminal charges, but that is the case for Brigadier General Jeffrey Sinclair. Until about a week ago, Brigadier General Jeffrey Sinclair was the deputy commander of the 82nd Airborne Division headquartered in Afghanistan. He was on a serious mission, interacting and building peace with the Afghan people. But he has been relieved of his duty and ordered back here to Fort Bragg.
I'm here today to inform you that Brigadier General Jeffrey A. Sinclair has been charged with multiple violations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
During a 2-minute press conference this afternoon, the command laid out those charges that could end up costing General Sinclair his military career during a court-martial.
The charges include forcible sodomy, wrongful sexual conduct, attempted violation of an order, violations of regulations by wrongfully engaging in inappropriate relationships, and misusing a government travel charge card.
According to the Associated Press, those sexual encounters were with female soldiers in Afghanistan. The list of charges included much more than just sex and pornography.
Violating general orders by possessing alcohol and pornography while deployed, maltreatment of subordinates, filing fraudulent claims, engaging in conduct unbecoming an officer and a gentleman, and engaging in conduct prejudicial to good order and discipline or by nature to bring discredit upon the armed forces.
Now, despite the serious nature of all those charges, General Sinclair is not being held in any pretrial confinement, Larry. He does have the run of the post and this community is what I've been told, but I'm sure he's been told not to venture too far away from Fort Bragg. No word yet on when his trial may begin.
We also have more breaking news in Fayetteville now. One man is shot, another pistol whipped during a home invasion. This happened just after 8 this morning in the Wildwood community off Ramsey Street. Gilbert Bays is live outside the house where it all went down. Gilbert?
Well, Amber, you can see the crime scene tape is still up here. Investigators are inside. I've talked with folks who live here in this community, and they say this is normally a quiet and safe place to live. But that peace and tranquility was shattered when 3 gunmen forced their way into that home. Fayetteville police spent most of this morning fingerprinting and searching for clues inside this house on Beechnut Court. The man in the orange shirt didn't want to go on camera, but tells Eyewitness News he arrived at the home before police and called for help. Investigators say the home invasion happened about 8 this morning.
There were 3 occupants in the house at the time. When 3 suspects came up to the house, some of the suspects were armed with handguns. One of the victims' occupants of the house was pistol whipped by one of the suspects, and another resident of the house was shot.
Police say that individual was transported to Cape Fear Valley Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. Right now, authorities are looking for the suspect's getaway car. It's described as a silver Toyota 4Runner. They're also trying to see if there's any relationship between the suspects and the victims.
We do know that during the course of the home invasion, personal property was taken from the victims, but at this point in time, the relationship between the suspects and the victims is still under investigation.
At this point, police have not released the name of the person who was taken to the hospital. We don't know his condition either. Again, they're looking for 3 suspects who made their getaway in a silver Toyota 4Runner. Anyone with information about what happened at this house this morning is asked to get in contact with Fayetteville Police. Reporting live here in Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
Gilbert Bays has the story from Fayetteville tonight.
The thing that struck me the most was the constant refrain from young folks who said, he's the only father they ever knew.
Superior Court Judge Gregory Weeks gets emotional when he talks about Roger Redd. The retired member of the 82nd Airborne Division ran a military-style boot camp for troubled youth. Redd, who served 3 tours of duty in Vietnam and was wounded 5 times, unexpectedly died yesterday of a massive heart attack. Howard Scott was his best friend, neighbor, and fellow volunteer. He says the program did more than just march teenagers around parking lots like soldiers.
We talked to the kids. We talked to the kids like they were not adults, but young men that made a mistake. And we're trying to teach them discipline and compassion.
Roger Redd made a difference in thousands of young men and women's lives. What was the difference? The difference was whether they walked out of that door free or out of that door in handcuffs. Weeks inherited the boot camp when he became the senior resident judge. It offered young offenders an alternative: complete Red's boot camp or continue to be processed through the courts and possibly go to jail.
Information that I gathered about that person led me to believe that this is somebody that may be able to not only avoid a felony conviction, but make a drastic change in their lives.
With weeks scheduled for retirement and Red now gone, the future of the program is in limbo. However, the judge plans to make sure teens going through the current class have a chance to complete the course. In Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
Gilbert Bays joins us live from one such town in Wilson. Hey, Gilbert.
Hey, Barbara and John, I tell you what, you drive around Wilson right now and you see trees down all over the place and power crews trying to restore power. Look through the bushes here, Luke. Can you see the end of that thing right there? That's the tree that snapped off here, and look what it ran into. It ran into Ed Cloyd's house here and did a lot of damage here. He happened to be inside the house with his 87-year-old mom and joins us live right now. Ed, you survived this thing, but I tell you what, there was some scary moments in there, weren't there?
Yeah, it was. Well, we just were anticipating maybe a tree going down, but we thought we were through it. And then later in the morning, after the wind changed, this particular tree caught it on the back end of it, and it crashed into our house.
Not the first little disaster for you. You had the earthquake, too?
Yeah, I had an earthquake, and I've never thought in my lifetime I would feel the effects of an earthquake, but our house actually shook, and it's a pretty well-built house, 1915.
Now, when this storm came through here, the tree came crashing in. Describe that moment for us.
Well, I was sitting in the front living room. My sister was upstairs, and my mother was just milling around the house checking on different things, and we heard a crash, and I said, "What was that?" And my sister, I heard her upstairs say, "Our luck just ran out." And she says the tree is falling on the front porch. So I immediately look out and go, "Oh my gosh."
Now, you said your mom is 87, but she's pretty spunky, huh?
She's the pillar of the family. She's tough at 87. She could probably outwork us all.
All right, well, we appreciate it. I know you got a lot of work to do. You're in the back there cleaning up. Thanks for chatting with us here. All right, thank you. And Ed said he was watching our coverage and saw all the stuff that was happening. And John and Barbara, tell you what, folks here in Wilson, a lot of them very lucky right now. We haven't had any reports of any deaths or major injuries here. There are 2 shelters that are open, and we were told that about 200 persons were at the shelters at the peak of the storm. Some of those folks from Hyde County who were evacuated from the coast who came inland, came into Wilson only to run into stuff like this. So these are some pretty amazing pictures, and there's several trees down. We're going to have more on this story and more of the damage up here in Wilson County coming up tonight at 6.
Gilbert Bays spoke with the family and does more.
The Parkton community is mourning the death of a man known as Scooby. George McKeechin lived at the Green Manor Rest Home near Parkton. Family members say he was on medication for mental illness.
I just think that he was off his medicine, and some people must have been harassing him and picking at him because he's not a foul person.
This video shows the McKeechin lawman encountered Friday was on a violent rage. He hit a man in the head with a log outside his convenience store, then went inside and tossed items off a counter and got into a fight with a customer. The 48-year-old man died after Robinson County Sheriff's deputies shot him with a taser outside the rest home where he lived.
When I saw the video, I knew then he wasn't on his medications. And the thing that gets me is he started acting out 2-3 days before the incident, and the rest home done nothing.
Now, the rest home has been in business for about 40 years. In January, its license was renewed, but Eyewitness News has learned that in June of this year, that license was downgraded to a provisional license because of deficiencies found by state inspectors. The rest home's rating has dropped during the past 3 years, and it has been cited in the past for not properly giving medication to its residents. Family members believe that's the reason their loved one died.
Then they had the power and the authority then to send him out for a mental evaluation, and they did nothing. So to me, again, this could have been avoided.
The state has spent the past 3 days inspecting the place. We'll have to wait and see what, if any, actions it takes. In Robinson County, Gilbert Bays, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
As Gilbert Bays reports, they hope someone turns in the crook and helps them get their money back.
Because we borrowed that one from the 9.
These 2nd and 3rd graders at Rockfish Christian Academy got a lesson in math earlier this week they could do without. Someone broke into the school run by Tabernacle Baptist Church and took away about $1,500 the students had collected through fundraisers.
We are in the process of trying to upgrade
a playground, as well as our 8th graders are raising money for their 8th grade trip, and then general funds to help maintain the property and pay some bills and things of that nature.
Now, this is the door that the crooks smashed in. It's the computer room. The money was stored in here. And this is one of the piggy banks that was slaughtered. This thing was just about packed with cash. And you've got to ask yourself, who would take money from a 5-year-old?
$100.
$100 was inside that? What was that for?
I got picked for the queen.
And they took your money?
Yes, sir.
Cherie Sweeney had money taken from 2 of her 4 children that attend the school.
I was heartbroken. It's bad enough when they break into God's house, but then when they go in and they take little banks from kindergartners and just shred them, it's heartbreaking that someone would be so cruel to do that to children.
The students are praying the crook has a conscience and a heart and brings back the cash. If not, they hope someone who knows him does and turns him in. In Hope County, Gilbert Bays, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
Now that's a snake right there. That is a snake right there. Look at this. You see that? That is a snake. Now y'all say what you want to say. I told you there were snakes out here. That is a water moccasin right there. I'm getting up over here right now. You don't believe me? That's a water moccasin. I'm going to stay right back here. Put that camera up on me. Get off that snake. I'm going to stay out that water. Hey, John and Barb, we're going to go back to you. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom here in a minute here. That's just,
wow. Okay,
right.
Now I'm going to believe you this time. I didn't believe you.
That is a snake.
Huh.
That is a snake.
All right, Gilbert, we're going to let you get out of the way there.
Unbelievable.
I don't know whether he should be more concerned about the snake or the tractor trailers
that comes
going
through the water.
High water. All right.
See,
Gilbert.
I told you. You guys didn't believe me.
I didn't at first. I'm
You can
sorry.
count on Eyewitness News.
That is a water moccasin right there. He's sitting there looking at me for dinner. Here, see? And
Thank
see
you,
now,
Gilbert.
look, hey Lou, you don't believe me yet? Back to you.
All right. Very good.
Get out of there.
Thanks, Gilbert. That was Gilbert Bays in Fayetteville a couple hours ago, and we'll be hearing about that for quite some time.
And an hour before that live shot, it was dark, and he thought he saw a snake in the water, and later it was a stick, which is why we were
Yeah, we were
teasing
with him a little
bit.
bit. But now he's got actual proof on videotapes.